Los Angeles Times, again I have, Riverside Press Enterprise, International Publications as well. She studied abroad in Mexico and Costa Rica. Please welcome Carla Ray. Take your seat, lovely lady. She's serious. You see how serious she is? She's serious. All right, the second panelist. You may have heard her already. Served 25 years as HR executive in Silicon Valley. She relocated to Chico in 2014 and started a new life in healthcare and community activism. In 2022, Julie became disabled, as you've heard, by COVID vaccine, and now is fighting for medical freedoms. Julie Threet is a member of REACT 19 Medical Doctors for COVID, Ethics International, and Free Now Foundation. Julie will be a panelist here, or actually she's a moderator and a co-host of a large Twitter X community called Stop the Shots. Okay? Welcome, Julie Threet. All right. How am I doing so far, okay? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let me hear it. All right. I love you guys. I just need a little. Love you, Mike. Okay, now for our third panelist. Okay, do you guys have a kind of a clue at all? No? Good. Okay. Okay, the third panelist is a private intel and security professional and also is the owner of the only restaurant that truly did not shut down in the state of California. And what is that restaurant called? Basilico Pasta y Vino of California. He pledged it as a constitutional battleground, and I tell you, he's still fighting. Okay? Now, an aggressive and upcoming defiance on day one of the lockdowns in March 2020 in defense of liberty and freedom and in honor of our founding fathers and our military heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice is why he has stood up and fought against tyranny. Okay, and he was waged war against Gavin Newsom. He has waged war against Gavin Newsom. He has also recently filed a federal constitution lawsuit against Newsom. Do I hear applause? After the state seized his business assets. Say what? Say what?
What?
I'll tell you one thing, almost sounds like Venezuela. All right. Years after his defiance, in an attempt to punish, check out this podcast, Roman Rules at RomanRules.com. And I'm going to welcome here to the stage, welcome Tony Roman. Tony Roman. All right now, you guys ready? I don't think you're ready yet. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Our last panelist. We know him as the city attorney of Huntington Beach, where he created a city prosecutor program to fight crime. He fought the state of California in countless legal battles of state overreach. He was the architect and defender of Huntington Beach's new voter ID law. And now he returns to us from his year working in the Trump administration as a Deputy Assistant Attorney General at the U.S. Department of Justice. Please give a warm welcome for the one and only Michael Gates. To carry out what he needs to be carried out.
Amen.
All this stuff that's against the Ten Commandments. We want to be for the Ten Commandments. And God wants us to be that way too. So he will appoint and he will direct, he will guide, he will protect. And that's why you see them all here still today under God's grace and mercy. Give it up for them one more time. All right, y'all. The first candidate is not me. Okay, just kidding. All right. Okay, so now candidates, we're going to get you ready to come out, so I hope you can hear my loud voice. I used to be a cheerleader, if that doesn't show. L-A-Q-U-I-N-T-A, aspects were very best. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so our first one says he loved California so much he moved to the Bay Area over a decade ago. He raised his family there, taught at Stanford, started a business, wrote books, hosted a TV show. Lived the California dream. He says California is his home, says he's proud American and an incredibly proud Californian too. He says he's called out America's increasing dependence on China when everyone else was rushing to engage. He pointed out the destructive impact of globalism on working families when the establishment dismissed that as a fringe point of view. Welcome, Steve Hilton. That's running for office. I don't even care what position it is. It's not easy. It's not something that everyone can do. But the ones that are not faint-hearted and courageous enough to step up, please always respect that and know that, okay? I know I ran once. It was fun. I truly didn't want to run, but I did. But I'll tell you one thing. It's an honor to run, especially for any position in the state of California. Praise God. Give it up one more time for Mr. Hilton. The next candidate, he was on a video during the so-called insurrection. How many know it's the so-called insurrection? All right. Steering agitators and protesters away from entering the front of the Capitol and likely saving lives due to the dangerous situation he recognized at the time. Lewis leads the charge, I said his name already, didn't I? Against the globalist agenda. He's against big government, gave it a term that's a rallying crime. I didn't put that, a rallying cry, not crime. Okay? I didn't put that term in there, but you can look it up because we're in a church. Okay, so anyway, for patriots everywhere, it's a symbol of resistance against tyranny. He is highly regarded in business, including troubleshooting for major corporations. He has an incredible history of making the impossible a reality. Please welcome Louis Herms to the stage. Is a husband and father, businessman, author, and entrepreneur, Marine Corps combat veteran. Oh, you got it. Sorry, I had a real thought here for a second. Okay. All right. Give me a second to regather. He says his mission is to lead California toward financial independence through bold reforms, economic empowerment, and a commitment to sustainable prosperity for future generations. He says his vision is to implement bold common sense reforms that reduce wasteful spending, support small businesses, promote energy and agriculture independence, and return power to local communities, creating a strong, self-sustaining California for generations to come. He says his promise is to tell the truth, keep his word, and earn trust through action. This candidate's name is David Serpa. As you know, with any event, there's bound to be something that might go awry, okay? So if you'll hold on with me and bear with me just a few minutes, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Give me a moment, okay? Thank you. Okay, carry on. Talk.
I'll carry on for a second. I want to remind everybody cheering's okay. Yelling is not. Respect the fact that you are a church. We have good Christians. We are the Republicans, most of us, but we are the conservatives. So act like it today, and I'm sure you all will. There's a couple of you that so we just got.
Hey, David!
Yeah, we got 3 candidates for California governor up here right now. From left to right, Steve Hilton, David Serpa, and Daniel Mercuri. I think it's, oh no, yeah, Louis Herms.
Sorry about that. I had to address my hair. You know how women get. Okay. Our next candidate. He says it's time to bring the fight to our state's corrupted so-called representatives. These vile career politicians and their acts of defiling our Constitution, Bill of Rights, state constitution, and instituting state mandates and laws that would excuse the acts of panhandling to illegal immigration, suppress our unalienable rights, defend the criminal, destroy the state economy, and protect child sexual criminality is truly morbid. This candidate feels they need to be exposed, removed from office, tried in a court of record, and thrown in prison. They are all sellouts. Enough is enough. This is why he is running for governor. He is tired of the rhetoric, the dirty politics, the undermining of our privacy and anonymity. He is also he also was in the military, and I wish I had that whole thing there, but he'll explain when he gets here. You guys will excuse me, right? Okay, so anyway, the next candidate I'd like to bring out is Daniel Mercuri.
Go Daniel!
Woo. Awesome. All right, we've got one more. I would go off memory, but sometimes my memory fails me a little bit in what I'm supposed to say. I hope you guys are okay. Am I doing okay still? Woo, scale of 1 to 10. I'll take it. All right, the next one. He chose California for its promise of opportunity and a place to raise a family. He says he's dedicated over 31 years to protecting his communities as a Riverside County Sheriff's Deputy, graduating top of his class and demonstrating unwavering commitment to public safety. As Sheriff Chad Bianco says, he confronted realities of California's struggling public safety system. He inherited a department facing budget crisis, dwindling morale, and fractured relationships with local law enforcement. He tackled these challenges head-on, stabilizing finances on strict budgets, rebuilding partnerships and collaboration, ensuring our deputies had the support they needed. Please welcome Sheriff Chad Bianco to the stage. Very good. Love everybody. I want to refrain from any shouts or anything like that because I would like everyone to hear. We really need to get together on this, guys. We do not want Katie Porter in office, do we? No. Do we want Eric Swalwell? No. Do we want any of the Swallows?
No.
Okay? No, we do not. So let's be respectful, let's listen intently, let's pray, let's give grace and mercy, and let's get this job done, right? Now, when you guys checked in, hopefully you all got a ballot as well. If you did, you will not fill it out until the very, very end of this, okay? As a surprise, wasn't it? But it's a good one. You guys are all fantastic. It's going to be very hard. So anyway, that way we encourage people, yes, let's get this going. Let's vote. Let's learn to get under, a candidate, all that good stuff. And there's so many to choose from. These guys are absolutely fantastic. Every single one. If I had a choice, I'd get all of them. I'd put all in all of them. I wanted all of them, okay? I love you guys. I'm going to sign off and let the show begin.
Did you see this? I left on the seat. Okay. You see any other one? No. Did you get one?
All right, we have sound. Good afternoon, candidates. Michael Gates, nice to see you all here. I didn't hear the rules from Sonia, so I'm going to make them up as we go along. I'm kidding. It's my understanding that the candidates each have 90 seconds to respond to the questions, and the questions can be answered. Each question could go to multiple candidates. Maybe not all, but it could be a few of you, so everybody listen up. Okay, so first question from Arthur Shapey from Torrance, Republican. And we're going to jump right in the deep end right here. So first to candidate Sheriff Bianco, will you find a way to challenge Senate Bill 54? Ignore it or simply just comply with it? Your response.
Yeah, thank you for the question. That's a very easy answer. Absolutely, yes. Currently, as you know, I am currently suing the state of California with the city of Huntington Beach to end state SB 54, sanctuary state law, because it is on its face unconstitutional. It creates a situation that I, as the sheriff, must either violate federal law or state law because of SB 54. That in and of itself makes it unconstitutional. We're currently going through the process with the city of Huntington Beach. As the governor, what I will do is end the defense of SB 54 in these lawsuits. You end the defense, it goes away anyway, we make it unconstitutional, we repeal it, and we get back to a situation where we are able to keep everyone safe. This is what I want all of you to understand. We were lied to about SB 54, we are currently being lied to about SB 54. SB 54 does absolutely nothing but protect criminals who are in custody, who are also in the country illegally. And it makes it a crime for me as the sheriff to cooperate with the federal government to release them to them for deportation. We are forced, all across the state, sheriffs and prison wardens, we are forced to release those inmates back into the communities. That absolutely must end in the community.
And Chad, while you're standing, can you move this podium to the side so everybody can see the candidates, please? Yeah, thank you. All right, same question for David Serpa.
Hello, everybody. I would do everything within my power to not only do away with SB 54, but also all sanctuary state policies, all sanctuary city policies, and a lot of the way that our immigration has been taking advantage and taken for granted, all the way to the point to where we have 14% of all of our social services going to people who don't belong in this country in the first place. In addition to that, we have 600,000 Chinese immigrants coming in here working on student visas. We have the H-1B visa programs that have made it so that every programmer has to come in from overseas. We have a lot of historical programs that have high approval ratings that I would also do away with. But one of the best ways that we can do away with immigration is by enforcing the laws that are already on the books. One of those laws is E-Verify, which verifies that everyone is a citizen of the state of California, an American citizen, before they can gain an employment. I would expand that law to cover housing, to say that if you are an illegal immigrant, you are not able to attain housing, you cannot enroll your kids in school, you cannot get a job, because if they don't make it financially feasible for immigrants to come here illegally, they will self-deport. And then we have less things happening that put ICE into dangerous situations where they're acting like Janet Reno in Waco, Texas, and we actually have them moving south of the border of their own accord, which is going to save us time, money, and human blood. Thank you.
We're going to have all the candidates answer this same question. So, Louis Herms, you're next.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, I actually completely align with David. I think he absolutely nailed this. So we have to understand that SB 54 and many laws like that are intentionally there to take us over. That's the purpose of what these laws are. And understanding our jurisdiction and all of that is important. But you know what's really important? Is right now, currently, a real constitutional sheriff would be able to not obey SB 54. And that's important. There's no reason we pander to that state law when that state law is unconstitutional. So yes, of course, I will do everything in my power to get rid of that, but I will also do my best to hold a sheriff's symposium right away and re-explain to all sheriffs what your constitutional duties are. I would continue, but I forgot to start the clock, so we're good.
Ron, do you want to fix that? Well, let me just give a first little education on this. Every sheriff in the state of California and every legislator should have never drafted and should have never enforced sanctuary laws because it's antithetical to the Constitution. The other thing, too, is that if you look at the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, the Uniform Rule of Naturalization, if you look at Title 28, Sections 13, 24, 25, and 26, ensures that nobody can enforce anything that is the antithesis to the Constitution. So why is it being enforced even today? So not only, I'm going to go one step further, so not only are we going to ensure that we are going to remove 54, Section 54, this is what we're going to do. We're also going to hold the people who even bother drafting that. No one's looking into our legislators, why not? No one's looking into the people who actually enforce it, why not? You put me in office, they're going to be heavily investigated expeditiously. And the last thing that I want to say too is, under my administration, if you come here to California and you're an illegal, it's one thing that you come here and you're an illegal, but under my administration, if you commit a heinous act of depravity, rape, murder, child molestation, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking, if you engage in any of that and you're an illegal alien, you're not going to be deported. You're going to stay here and I'm going to subject you to the death penalty. I'm going to make sure that we set a clear and concise message to every illegal alien that comes into this country, into this state. Do not come to California. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question. We're sick of it, aren't we? We are sick of our laws, our good nature being exploited by people who come here illegally. We're sick of it. No more. America elected a president that said no more, and that is now being enforced. Thank goodness the border is now closed. We're not just sick of the year after year after year of the open border and being ripped off by this far-left ideology and by the failure of Democrats and Republicans to do anything about it. We're also sick right now of the attacks on our law enforcement officers, on our ICE agents who are doing their job, protecting our country. We are sick of it, and I'm telling you right now, when I'm governor, all of that will end in California too. We are going to work with President Trump and his administration, with Tom Hogan. Tom Hogan has been a friend of mine for many, many years. We're going to work together. We're going to end this madness, and we're going to stop, exactly as David Serpa said, the incentives for this. On top of what David said, what are we doing? Giving out $13 billion of our money for free healthcare to people who shouldn't be here in the first place. That's going to end as well. We are going to restore order in every way when we win in November. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. This next question is for both Sheriff Bianco and Steve Hilton. This comes from Mr. Eric Peterson of Orange, and his question is, what's the number one problem that you see in California, and how do you believe you can fix it? Let's start with you, Sheriff Bianco.
Yeah, thank you. The number one issue in California, which encompasses every single aspect of what we all know is wrong with California, is regulation. We are the most over-regulated state in the entire country, whether it is your business, whether it is your personal life, whether it is government, law enforcement, anything. We are the most regulated state in the country. The beauty of that is it is all regulation, it is not law. And as the governor, every single one of those regulations can be removed. Every single one of them. They were put in place by boards and commissions that were from crappy governors, from people that should not be on those boards, and those decisions were made by environmentalists for the most part, activists for the most part, and this is the thing with me as the governor. Experts will actually be put in these situations, in these positions, in these boards to make these decisions. When you have activists that make decision for the entire state, or you have attorneys who are making the decision for their own benefit and coming up with these rules and regulations, that is what is destroying us. Regulations have ruined our oil industry, regulations have ruined our building industry and made affordable housing absolutely non-existent. Regulations are ruining all of California, and regulations are what we all know as the sunshine tax. The sunshine tax is how much is it worth for you to live in California. And what we realized a couple years ago is we met our limit. We are over-regulated, we are overtaxed, and all of those have to be removed.
Thank you to my assistant here, very good. I agree with everything Chad said, but I think there's something deeper, and the more I'm on the road across our beautiful state, learning about what's been going wrong, the more I realize there's something at the heart of it, and this is what we really have to fight against. The corruption of 16 years of one-party rule, and everything that's gone into that. The government unions and the far-left activists and these machine politicians, and three things came together this week that put all that together for me. On Wednesday, I was in the Palisades with those people, that community. The name of the rally, the words on the backdrop behind me, they let us burn. Imagine that's how they feel. They let us burn. Well, who let them burn? The corrupt machine politicians in LA and in Sacramento. And then on Monday, with my friend and colleague Herb Morgan, who's running for state controller, we put out our estimate of the fraud in California. $250 billion of our money in fraud. And then now look at what they're doing. A billionaire tax to drive out the people that create the wealth. Why? Because of the $13 billion, they need it for healthcare. $13 billion for illegal immigrants. Now they say they want more from billionaires. No more. This corrupt system has to be taken apart. I'm going to go there to Sacramento and take a sledgehammer to all of it. That's how we get California back on track.
So you asked the question as to what we feel is one of the biggest issues in the state of California. Personally, one of the biggest issues, and I've been a victim of this, my children have, and that is child trafficking, sex trafficking. Our children being exploited, in my personal opinion, are the number one things that are affecting our state. When we have legislators that are out there writing bills that, like SB 154, like pervert Senator Scott Wiener, who is going after our children, trying to separate the family, trying to separate the nuclear family and what we stand on, conservatism. When we speak about God and not realizing that our Constitution is holy and it speaks greatly about God. And when you remove God out of our lives, you have to fill that void with something. Well, look what it's being filled up with. We have a bunch of these degenerates in an office that are attacking you, they're attacking our children, they're indoctrinating them and grooming them in our schools, and these individuals need to be removed out of office, out of our family courts. We need to get rid of CPS because they're doing nothing but trying to hurt our children. And if we don't protect our children, then what are we doing? Because when you look at the Constitution, you look at the Declaration of Independence, how do we pass on, the benefits? So how do we pass on to our posterity the blessings of liberty? How do we do that when all we do is undermine, and we think it's okay that laws are being passed to let children engage in trying to mutilate their sexual organ before they hit even pubescent phase? What are we doing? If we're not going to fight for them, then don't bother voting for me. Don't bother voting for anybody else. But see, this is what I feel is at the core of everything gone wrong, is the attack on our children, the abolition of family, and our legislators are engaging in Marxism, and it's absolutely abhorrent and is obvious. And if we don't stop then what is there? So I ask you right now, put in somebody into office, Daniel Mercuri, and I'll make this happen.
As many of you know, when I asked God, why should I get in here, the number one issue was child trafficking. And I don't consider myself an expert, although I have a documentary that I did on child and human trafficking. And it's deep. And it's deep even in regards to CPS. In Los Angeles, you would call it DCFS. Right? And when I say deep, it's really bad. So I have somebody here in the audience, her name's Veronique Van Pelt, and she's been abused by the system. So she was trafficked at 23 years old. She was drugged and trafficked and then forced to have sex with somebody, raped, had his child, and he was a British nationalist who's trying to use it as an anchor baby so he can stay in the country. All the while she's being drugged and abused. And guess what? When she reached out and worked with CPS, you know what happened? They said she was a pariah because she brought up the fact that she was trafficked. And then her fight really got worse. In fact, there was a case going on throughout the sheriff, the police, and guess what? As soon as CPS said, lay off of this, they stopped investigating. And this criminal is running the streets today, harassing her and her child. In fact, posting pictures of their child naked through AI all over the net. That's what we're dealing with, folks. But the judges and the politicians know this, and they must be held accountable.
The number one issue, and it's not even close, is the money. Governor Newsom got elected with a $30 billion surplus. He is going to be leaving office with a $68 billion deficit. Somebody should be going to prison.
Newsom.
A 92-page independent report by the state auditor showed that there was $248 billion missing in government spending in the state of California. That's your money. Somebody should be going to prison. They found 8 different organizations that are underneath the government's office, 7 of which are underneath the state treasurer, that are found to be at high risk for fraud. $26 billion in homelessness, $18 billion in high-speed rail. Somebody should be going to jail. The lottery money that was supposed to save our schools has done nothing to save our schools. Governor Newsom approved in 2023 $750 million to go to tiny houses. Somebody should be going to jail. During COVID-19, there was $298 billion approved in stimulus funds that came to California, and only 13 cents on the dollar was accounted for, which means that 87% went to fraud. Somebody should be going to prison. Now, we have Fiona Ma, we have Alani Kounalakis, we have all of these people in the executive that think that they get to run for other positions. I'm looking for a controller who's going to refer these audits to an attorney general for prosecution, because what is an audit without teeth? It's time for someone to go to prison. Thank you very much.
Good
afternoon. There you go, you can hear me. Julie 3. I think if you heard me at the beginning of this event, you probably know this first question is from me personally. So what are you going to do for the millions of us in the state that were injured by the COVID vaccine? And what are your plans for the California Department of Public Death? Thank you. California Department of Public Health, what will you do about it?
So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right in. I was anti-vax before it was cool. In 2016, and I'm weird, I'm anti-vax. In 2016, I tried to recall a sitting Republican senator, Senator Stone, based on his co-authoring of SB 277 with Richard Pan. That never should have came from a Republican going away with a religious exemption for a vaccine. That's a shame. And so the thing is I would kick the FDA out of the state of California. Give private enterprise a true opportunity to develop medicines and bring them to market. No one should have to leave California to go to Mexico to fight for their life in a method of their choosing. No one should have to go to Mexico to be able to keep their teeth. No one should have to go to Mexico in order to save their vision. And unfortunately, coming through the state treasurer's office, we have the second largest contributor to healthcare in the country. It directly funds the healthcare here in California. We cover 73 cents out of every dollar spent on healthcare in California. Tell me that we couldn't do better than that. And so what we have to do is we have to start holding these people accountable in government. We have to get rid of this oversight so that the free market can thrive. And then we have to create real social services and social safety nets for the people that truly need help. Thank you so much.
So here's the issue when we look at the vaccines. You asked, what are we going to do about this, right? So we had forced COVID vaccines, and here's the thing. No one's talking about the California Medical Board and the California Medical Director. Under my administration, the director is going to be fired. We're going to shut down the Medical Health Board immediately. They're going to be investigated, they're going to be indicted, and they're going to be prosecuted for coercion, malpractice, medical propaganda, as well as child abuse that forced our children to take something that was a complete experiment and unfounded by the FDA. Number two, these individuals, most of the California Medical Board have been all appointed by none other than Gavin Newsom. They all have ties to the CDC, the WHO, you name it, and then Big Pharma. And here's the thing, if you're a healthy person, you're a lost profit for the medical industrial complex. They don't want you healthy. And then on top of that, here we have the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act that was signed into none other than Ronald Reagan. I know a lot of us like Ronald Reagan, but the problem with that though is that it's an abrogation to our state constitution, Article 1, Section 9, and also Article 1, and I think it's the 14th Amendment, that under equal protection under the laws. The problem is that the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act gave immunity to the pharmaceutical companies. Well, I got news for you. You don't have equal protection under the laws when the opposing party that caused the damages has been given an immunity. So how do you have equal protection under the laws? You don't. So under my administration, we're going to push back against Big Pharma. If they can't prove their concoctions and efficacy, they're not going to be able to distribute it into this state. If they can't prove the fact that they are here for your health, they're not going to be able to subject you to it. It's really that simple, is to make California healthy again, and that's what I stand on.
Gentlemen, we have a lot of questions this afternoon, so if you can, we're going to probably direct a question to each of you. That way we don't go through the whole thing because there's so many questions. Tony, you're next.
All right. I'm gonna start off going easy on you guys to warm you up, okay? But you know, it's easy to stand up here and talk tough on home turf, but you got to be willing to kick ass on the campaign trail, right? Yeah. So my first question is for Steve. You're a gentlemanly candidate, right? I mean, you know, you're an Englishman that projects that English etiquette, sensibility, but I think that it's a recipe for losing in a fight to save our state. There's no time for Mr. Nice Guy, okay? So what I want to know from you and from all you guys is first from you, what was that?
What are you doing here? Ask the question.
Hey.
Don't
Hold up, man. Yeah. Are you willing to take the Dem candidate out to the woodshed when fighting to win, meaning no holds barred, go for the jugular, no bending over backwards, niceties, instead of gloves off, punch you in the face campaign to win. Because for me, it feels like the old style, the Mitt Romney style of campaigning, John McCain, is a recipe to lose. So each of you, please, if you could give us a vision for your campaign when you're on the trail. Go ahead.
All right. Did you ever see my Fox News show? I don't think politeness towards the Democrats was the way I used to do that on a Sunday night. Look, I agree with you completely. We got to take these people apart for what they've done to our state. That's what I've been doing. That's what I'm out there doing the whole time. The whole time. We're going to take them apart. It is disgusting what they've done to our state. When I mentioned earlier they let us burn in the Palisades, they've burned the California dream. These people must be made to pay. And I'm going to make them do it. But on top of that, I just want to say to you, by the way, I know I still have the accent, but there's a couple of things I just want to correct for you. First of all, I'm an American, just to be clear. Secondly, I'm not even English, because my parents are Hungarian. So you're not going to pin that one on me. I don't know if Agnes Gibbony is here, our wonderful angel mom Agnes, this week in Rancho Cucamonga. She cooked me a fantastic Hungarian home-cooked meal, nearly as good as I make it. The point I want to make on that, it's not just that I'm not English in any way at all, or in my temperament. I am literally not, because just to be really clear about it, I have not only become an American, I have renounced my UK citizenship. Because I am all in for this country, all in for this beautiful state, and all in to smash this corrupt Democrat regime, kick them out of office, and turn our state around.
All right, with all due respect to you and you, this is where we go wrong. Right? Democrat versus Republican, Republican versus Democrat. I'm sorry. I've studied this. Some of the most evil on this planet has an R in front of its name, and they're called rhinos. Right? They're Republican in name only. And I say often the Democrat is that snake at your doorstep. At least you know what they're thinking. Right? The rhino, the Republican in name only, they're under your sheets and they're going to bite you in the you-know-what when you're not paying attention. Right? Evil is evil. Put an E next to their name. Right? If you're evil, we hold you accountable. Period. End of story. Corruption is corruption. Child abuse is child abuse. Pedophiles. Jail time? No. Put a millstone around their neck. We have to stop playing games. We have to fight at the highest level. I've been on this and doing it over and over for years with my platform, Screw Big Gov. I've been poisoned 2 times because of it. Because I call out the medical mafia. Because I go after the child traffickers. And I'm going after the cartel. And we're going after it hard. And sheriffs, do your damn job. Because if you do, like my Remember Your Oath program, we will hold you accountable, but we will also support you and lift you up if you do it.
It absolutely, 100%, without a doubt in my mind, is Republican versus Democrat. We're in California. The Democrats have control of the executive, the assembly, the Senate, every major city in this state. At what point is it not Republican versus Democrat? I've been at this from the beginning for the past year, trying to create an executive branch that we can all be proud of. And right now, I can tell you there are 41 seats in the assembly where no one's running. We don't have a Republican running. There are 9 seats in the Senate where no one's running. There are 3 seats in the executive branch where no one is running. God knows how many congressional districts are unchecked. So how is my campaign different than everyone else's campaign? Because I was on a call with 3 of these gentlemen and David Kohlenberg, wherever he is, and I was cussing at everybody on the call saying, some of you should have dropped the F out of this, and I'm not going to do it because we're in a church. You should have dropped the F out of the race in the parking lot. because you lost the last debate so badly, you shouldn't have continued. At some point or another, we do have to coalesce behind a candidate. We do have to get a good treasurer, a good secretary of state, a good attorney general, a good controller. We have to go in there and we have to lock shields and face front, because the enemy is the Democratic Party. Yes, we have Republicans in here that are a problem. Yes, you cannot drain half of a swamp. But point to me one stronghold of Republican leadership in California. Point to me one stronghold in one major city. At some point or another, we have to hold the Democrats accountable for sleeping in the dirty bed that they have made over the last 50 years.
Do you honestly think that we're not going to stand up to them? This is Republican versus Democrat. It goes a little bit further, and it is more so than that, because it is our duty to find the same Democrats and convince them that they're on the wrong path just because they vote D. This really isn't about DNR. This is about sanity, and it's about the security and the safety of California. Every single one of us, they are all passionate. They are all here for a reason, and it's because California is absolutely broken. We can all talk a big game. We're all complaining about what Newsom's done. We're all complaining about Democrats. We're all complaining about the brokenness of California. We're all saying what we're going to fix. We're all saying the exact same thing. We say it in a different tone. We say it in a different place. We're all conservative Republicans here complaining about California and what we are going to do later. I will be the only person on this ballot that is proof of concept. I've already shown you what I'll do. I've already stood up to see the California Department of Public Health. It's a disgrace. I was the first person in the country to stand up and say, do not bring that crap to Riverside County. I'm not enforcing anything. We are not doing that. I was for a while, the only law enforcement leader in the entire country that was reaching out to everyone saying, you're getting fired for not taking the vax? Come here, I'll hire you. I hired every single one of them. We have been lied to by government. We have been punished by our government, and it's time to take it back. But in the end, it isn't about fighting them. It's about winning this election. We have to do everything we can to win this election so we can save this state.
So you asked the question, what are we doing? What's our campaign doing a little bit differently? I've been on this since 2019 when I ran for Congress, and I saw just how corrupt government works, where corrupt government hides and operates, and how they get away with what they're doing. I've been to over 242 cities on my dime and not yours. I've been to every single county at least twice. While I'm trying to educate and show everybody how you can hold your own representatives' feet to the fire at the local and state level. It's not just about me standing up here saying, I'm going to be governor, even though my name is Daniel Mercuri, so just in case you forget. I want you to understand that even if I don't win, I've been trying to empower everybody on how you can fight back, how you can take the power back. If you don't know the law, there is no law. If you don't know your rights, you have no rights, and they know this. I'm going to go back to one case. I think it's in 1956, U.S. versus Minker. And you know what they said? They said that what appears to be lawful on the surface, people are cunningly coerced into waiving their rights due to ignorance. What's the courts telling you? You're stupid. They know that you don't know any better, and they're not here to help you. And so, yes, when I say, okay, is it a D and an R? Maybe. But it's also good versus evil. And you need to involve yourself and get up off your tail and get involved. Because if you don't, there's no one else to point the finger at. So you have some options up here. Great one right here. But at the end of the day, yes, we need to lock shields, and we need to do something different and change the old rule book and playbook that hasn't worked in decades. Let's do something different and take back the state. You want a candidate that's going to hit the ground running? Look at Daniel Mercuri.
Okay, the next question I have is for the audience. Are you hungry? Yeah. Good, then go out to the food truck. Now understand, this is like school. Like we're asking you to sign the School Choice Act. Check your watch. You have 20 minutes. That is 20 minutes. Ready? Starting now. Go out and spend some money, then come back and listen.
Break time. Okay, so it's break time right now. Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I know, 20 minutes. Alright, so we're gonna go walk around a bit, show you the outside. With all the candidates, they have their tables here. But yeah, they're going for a 20-minute break right now. I'm not sure what other cities are non-sanctuary except for Huntington Beach. Pretty much like the most, I think, well-known city to require it. I mean, to be non-sanctuary. So we got the different candidates booth over here. We got Steve Hilton's booth, David Serpa's booth, and over there is Bianco. Piece of heaven. I think that's a child trafficking refuge and center for those who've been trafficked. But yeah. Got different booths here, different things. Daniel Mercuri.
Oh yeah, that's why we gotta get I was gonna introduce you to my daughter, but who's my assistant, but she went out. We're trying to get to the yeah. Go get lunch.
There's a Trump booth with Trump merch, some hats and shirts.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, we got 20 minutes. 20 minutes. 20 more minutes. Let's go see the food trucks. Food trucks. I guess they got food out here. They got like burritos or something. Right over here. This is yours. But yeah, they got food over here. I see some kettle corn. Yeah. Oh yeah. It smells good though. Denise, I'll go grab him for you. Yeah, but there's a lot of candidates running for governor right now. on the Republican side. And the thing is that California is based on the top 2 in the primary. So all of them run in the primary, and the top 2 go to the general election, even though they're from different parties. All parties are in the primary. That's how the California rule is. Hi, Lala. It's Lala.
Hi, Lala.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year,
Yeah,
Lala.
Happy New Year. Long time no see.
Hi, Denise. Denise Green.
Long
Happy
time.
New Year. Long time. Miss you guys.
Yeah, right now they're on a 20-minute break. I smell it. I think they have barbecue. I saw like there's baked beans or something, kettle corn. And then over here they have like a table to sign the voter ID petition. Because you know California doesn't have voter ID, but I heard they reached 1 million signatures, so I heard that they reached enough signatures to get it on the ballot for this year. Yeah, so right now we're just waiting for them. 20 minutes. 20-minute break. So yeah, thank you guys all for joining us. Yeah, so we got Chad Bianco here, there's Steve Hilton, Daniel Mercuri, David Serpa, and Louis Herms. Those are the 5 right now. And I believe that they're the top 5 contenders right now for the Republican Party. Right now, those are the top 5. And but yeah, there's still too many candidates, and there's other candidates as well that they're not well known, but they're all still running. I think there's over 30 candidates running as Republicans in November. Hi, random American.
I think Chetty took it during the thing.
They kill their own mothers. Our president is appointed by the Lord Almighty. Amen. Amen here. Oh yeah, more than likely. I agree. No, the Lord gave it.
So that means we're going back in around, I think 450. That's around putting it, 450. Right now it's around 440. Got 10 more minutes. Wait for kids. Yeah. No, it's just food. Right? Yeah. It looks like barbecue though. It looks like barbecue though. Yeah. Barbecue cooking over here, selling kettle corn. Smells good though. Baked beans. Oh, it's good to see you too, Lala.
I don't have my glasses on.
Okay, I go ahead and try, okay?
Yeah.
It makes it easier to remember. I'm just gonna change my name. Hey dude, that's me.
Yeah. It's nice and breezy right now, not too hot, nice and cool. It was hot in there. It was hot. Yeah, Lala. I think the primaries are in June. Oh. And then the general elections in November. Yeah. That's why they gotta shorten down that list. There's too many of them. Because, they gotta stick behind one candidate. Like, if the Democrats, they're probably gonna go behind Swalwell. That's their top candidate. That's the thing, because even though, like the Democrats, they unite, they unite behind one candidate, even like they're evil, they're bad, whatever, they don't care, just because they go by party, not by policy. Is the voting secure? Well, no. There's no voter ID here, Denise, but they're trying to get it on the ballot, but we'll see if it passes, because there's no voter ID, but they're trying to get it on the ballot. But we have to vote on putting voter ID on the ballot. Yeah, and then Katie Porter, I think she's still running too, but I think nobody wants her anymore. I think her chance is over, because I don't know if you guys saw that video of how she yelled at her interns and stuff during the 60 Minutes interview. Or was it NBC interview? MSNBC? I forgot which one, but one of the interviews, she was caught like yelling at her intern. Hi, Deb B. Good to see you. So we're gonna go back in soon. I gotta use the restroom real quick. Okay, so yeah, we did reach the minimum. So they're gonna try to get more. I'm gonna go use the restroom, y'all.
Good. Sounds good.
Newsom and all
If I knew nothing,
Lala, Swallow would be a horrible replacement for Newsom.
How are you?
Where you going? Where's she going?
Come, John. Come here. Come back here.
Where's she going?
You have to be going.
He likes the barbecue smell.
He's looking for the doggy. Oh yeah, Swalwell slept with the Chinese spy.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna head back inside now, right? We still got 10 minutes, I guess. 9-10 minutes. Where? Oh yeah? Yeah, so Michael Gates is also here as one of the panelists. He's back from working for the Trump administration for a few months. And he returned to Huntington Beach. And now he's running for California Attorney General this next election cycle. So, yeah. I forgot who's running against him. I forgot who it was. I think it's... I don't remember. Look at the little doggy. Yeah, Lala, I'm gonna make you guys smell that barbecue while you wait. Here, you can watch people eat if you want. Yeah. Looks like it's almost time for sunset though. It's a beautiful evening right now. Yeah. I don't know, I'm getting a little hungry smelling this barbecue. Spencer Pratt is running for mayor of LA. I'm not sure who that is. Lala. Yeah, that's right. Let's see, it's like 4 over here, so it's like 7 over there. 7:43. We'll go back in. Make sure we don't miss the second half. Because intermission's gonna end in about 7 minutes or so. And I head back in. But yeah, and here I got all the candidates tables if you haven't seen it yet. Steve Hilton table over here. And there's Trump gear too, Trump merch. Yes, Lala, they spoke the first hour or so. So now it's break and they're going to the second hour. But yeah, they were asking them questions like about illegal immigration. And how are you, like, how the sanctuary law for California is not constitutional. And they shouldn't have to follow it, like sheriffs shouldn't have to follow it. They were asking them questions about like, just like what they're gonna do, you know. But I don't remember exactly. But also child trafficking, COVID vaccine, about what they're gonna do about that. But yeah. All right, so we're gonna go back to our seat now. There's about 5 minutes left before the break ends.
And I didn't like the fact that
Yeah, back to our seat.
I
19 people running, wow. So I guess the candidates are over here mingling. That's what you want to call it. Like right there, you can see you can see Chad Bianco right there. There's David Serpa. Should start pretty soon.
All right, everybody, take your seats. Take your seats. Break is over. School is back in session. Everybody, if you could take your seats right now. We're already over 20 minutes. We want to make sure we get the questions in, and more importantly, the answers out. Yeah, if we can get the candidates back to the stage as well. Candidates back to the stage.
Yeah, Denise, I saw.
And for those in the
like
hall
in the
who can't hear, if there's
Palisades,
anybody in the back doorway who
north
can't
as
hear,
well.
relay the
Just
message
going, like,
to the crowd out
up
there.
and
They got to
down.
come back in. Take your seats. We're going to start asking questions right now.
Here we go. But yeah, so starting pretty soon. Sorry about that, guys. But also, I just want to mention that Steve
Candidates, start
Hilton,
making your way
I
back
know
up
he
to
was
the
endorsed
stage.
by Charlie Kirk.
Mike Netter, I need
before
you
he
to
passed
round up the
away,
people that are
before he was
outside, bring them
assassinated.
back in so we can start.
Looks like we're starting soon, so.
I will be concluding the moderation from here on out. I hope you guys are okay with that. Okay, let's see if that mic works. This is Mike Netter.
Sorry, yeah, some technical
Testing,
difficulties.
testing. Working now. All right. I got a mic. I may not let it go.
But yeah, there's a good amount of people here. I'll show you guys.
making their way back to the stage. And then I might add the handsome candidates making their way back to the stage. And I have a beautiful panel right here, do I not? We got handsome men, handsome, beautiful women. We have beautiful Carla, beautiful Julie, handsome Ronald, handsome Tony, handsome Michael. Okay, guys, everybody. Okay, I got you. Right here. Okay.
But yeah, we got some.
Now,
You're passing this out.
everybody, as we're starting to make
Steve
our way back
Hilton
in.
Flyers. Louis Herm flyer.
Tedious journey. I want Jesus to hold while I'm on this tedious journey. I want Jesus to walk with me, my Jesus, walk with me. Come on, clap. Walk with me, my Jesus, walk with me. Walk with me, my Jesus, walk while I'm on this. No. I'm sorry, he had a very important question before I could finish my song. All right, guys, we're making our way back in. Thank you very much. I need you.
Yeah, so we got the candidates sitting up there right now. So they're about to begin.
Right. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes, guys. I'm sorry if I'm standing in your way. Please forgive me. We're going to have the people come in and we're getting ready to start. You guys got your timers already reset. Okay. We're going to start anywhere between, I'm going to say 2 and 3 minutes. Is that acceptable? We're good with that? Is everybody still excited? Or I don't really feel it now. All right, we're gonna compare. This side, is everybody still excited? Hold on. I'm pigeon-toed, so hold on. How about this side? Everybody excited? I kind of think that side won. Now, let's go ahead, okay? I kind of think they won. You guys got to give it up here. All right. Everybody's ready? Well, then let's get these questions started. I love you guys. Once again, you guys are all amazing. And I'll tell you, I'm very humbled that all of you are here. Thank you so much.
All right. I have the next question. Thank you, Sonia. This is a question we're going to have to accelerate the format here. So this question is for the two candidates, Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco. This is from Sherry Daniels. As much as everybody would like to answer questions, I appreciate that. We're going to mix it up, but we have to accelerate the format. Sherry Daniels from Huntington Beach, Republican. So for the two candidates, what would you do on day one to reverse Newsom, what Newsom has done with regard to raising taxes, housing mandates, and the attack on the Second Amendment? Go.
I'll take it.
So number one, I'm going to be realistic. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, probably up to 10 is nothing but signing away the regulations that have destroyed the state. When you ask about what are you going to do about tax and laws, the governor, we need to be realistic and say the governor can do absolutely nothing about that other than convince the legislature that they need to either repeal it or amend it. And that starts before day one. That starts from the day you elect me in those 3 months of making sure that they know what my priorities are, what my agenda is, talking about the Second Amendment. 32 years of doing this, I'm telling you, I'll speak for every cop in this state. Law-abiding residents don't commit crimes. End of story. Guns do not commit crimes. End of story. There is absolutely no such thing as gun violence. There is absolutely no way that a gun jumps up on a shelf, runs down the street shooting people. People commit crimes. Guns do not. Our gun laws are only meant to prevent law-abiding residents from having guns. That agenda changes with me as your governor. That agenda changes the day I get elected, not the day I take office. We have to be realistic. And with that question, it was all about taxes. I can do everything in my power with regulations, signing them away. But taxes, it's about working with the legislature to make sure that my agenda is implemented, and guns, the Second Amendment, is going to be a priority.
Day one, we have to start dismantling the bloated, nanny state bureaucracy, exactly as Chad said. But let's get specific about what I would do as well as that. Number one, I will arrive in office with my first budget written. We just had the governor's budget published yesterday. He's increasing spending another $40 billion into their corrupt machine. Can you believe that? Why do we have the highest taxes in the country? Because we have spending that's out of control. I will be going in there with a $60 billion spending cut so we can cut taxes for working Californians. Your first 100 grand, no state income tax. I will dare the Democrats to vote down a tax cut for working Californians. You asked about housing, and by the way, I just want to say what a great fight Michael Gates and Huntington Beach led against the tyranny of the housing mandates from Sacramento. That will end. The RENA numbers, all gone. The Housing and Community Development Department, all gone. Ending the days when Sacramento is telling communities to build housing that they don't want. That will end. We will take this corrupt system apart and restore freedom so that our people, our businesses can create the jobs and wealth and opportunity that will restore the California dream. All of that can happen on day one because I'm making the plans now. You can read them. I've done the work. I've traveled the state for 3 years, putting in the work to develop the plans to make this happen starting on day one.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. This next question is for Mr. Daniel Mercuri and Sheriff Chad Bianco. With the 34th Olympiad being hosted in Los Angeles and the state of California, respectively, this question is regarding the Olympics because of, well, it's about the Olympics, but because of the homelessness in Los Angeles, it's a very serious matter. And how do you propose we as a state can actually deal with this particular problem? Because with homeless individuals, there are a lot of them that are suffering from mental health. So do we clean up the streets and then, well, what happens to them afterwards when the Olympics is over and all the international crowd goes home? What is the long-term plan for these people on the streets?
So most of my answers are always going to start off with, first and foremost, the Constitution of the United States, state Constitution. So if you look at the state Constitution, we've already outlined on how to handle low-income housing. Well, the reason why they actually don't take care of the homeless is because there's profit to be made off of the homeless. So what happens is that your counties can actually claim a crisis. When they claim a crisis, they're able to get and require more funding or request more aid from the state and or at the federal level. So then just as recently, Gavin Newsom gave a $5 billion bond to Los Angeles to help the homeless. The problem is there's no fiscal oversight committee as to where the money is going, who's getting what, and if whether or not this is actually going to work. So under my administration, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that there can no longer be a claim for crisis. Number two, we're going to try to enshrine it into state constitution under a memorandum of understanding the way a number of other counties actually function on how they're going to handle the homeless when it comes to those who have mental instabilities, those who are actually down on the luck, veterans like myself, and a number of other people. And why aren't we doing that? Again, it's because there's profit to be made off of the homeless. And so we already have a number of wards that in hospitals that are vacant, that are not being utilized, that we can get a lot of these mental instability individuals out there. We can also utilize a lot of realtors who have, here just in Los Angeles alone, over 80,000 vacant buildings and lots and homes that can be retrofitted out to the homeless, but yet they don't do it because, again, the county's not making money off of that. So this is how we're going to get the homeless off the street. This is how it's going to be a win-win for the homeless, and this is how we're going to take care of the Olympics to make sure that they are removed from the street and there's no longer any vagrants, and it's a win-win for us and it's a lose for the counties.
The only true experts in what we see on the street with these people that are out there is law enforcement. We're dealing with it on a daily basis. So as the governor, I will tell you that I'll make it a crime for all of you to ever use the word homeless again. Because the word homelessness is a psychological ploy to get you to feel sorry for them. This has absolutely nothing to do with homes. This is a way for you to think that it has something to do with homes, so the waste, the fraud, the abuse of the money can flow to the people that are being rich, being made rich, and that money will never be stopped because people are making their livelihoods and their grandchildren's livelihoods off of your taxpayer dollar. This is a homeless industrial complex that is treating it like a homeless problem when it absolutely is not. This is a drug and alcohol-induced psychosis problem. And until we address it for what it is, we will never fix it. Cleaning up LA for the Olympics is going to be very, very easy. Stopping the money is what happens on day one. The nonprofits, the NGOs, the LLCs that are getting the billions of dollars of your taxpayer money that is never making it down to the street to help these people is where the crime is. And this went along with several of the other things, and the absolute enthusiasm of the crime, the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. Send the guy with the badge and the gun into Sacramento to clean that place up, because all of them are going to go to jail. If you have ever been on Skid Row, it is disgusting what we are allowing our fellow human beings to do in the name of money for someone else. It ends with me as your governor.
Okay.
I'll ask you one.
Okay.
David Serpa.
I'd really like to speak on the homelessness. Yeah, the thing is I graduated from high school homeless. I was raised by a single mother. I've lived in women's shelters and Section 8 housing. And the thing is it's not just drug-induced psychosis. The thing is that everyone in California is feeling the burn. Over about 50% of people cannot afford an unexpected expense of about $400 or more. I know people are homeless. I know who people are, the people that are homeless. I know them because they're friends. They're people that I personally have relationships with. And these government programs that are out there are so corrupt that the services rarely get out to the people who actually need them. And so the thing is, there are two things that I constantly drive by everywhere that I go around California. It's new warehouses and more homeless people. And so what we should start doing is take some of these big giant warehouses, a lot of which are already owned by local governments, county governments, state governments, put services in those warehouses, put tiny homes in those warehouses, and then bring the services in there so that people have an opportunity to get help where there is mental health help available, where there's medical assistance available. And then that way we keep everything in one place. Because in order to just tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, it creates and exacerbates the problem. And what we need to do is we need to stop financially incentivizing the homeless industrial complex, turn off the money hose, and actually make government work for the people so that they're no longer slipping through the cracks because government can't manage its own money. Thank you.
Mr. Herms and Mr. Hilton. So Northern California, we lost our congressman this week. Doug LaMalfa passed away tragically. So this question's for him. Forest management, water management, very important to us up there. Again, I'm in Butte County. Half our county has burned. Literally, we've got victims still in paradise. So before Palisades, before Maui, there was paradise. So what can you speak to about water management and forest management? Thank you.
Well, I don't know if online they can hear me because I heard my mic was off to people who are watching online. So hope you can read sign language or maybe lips. That would be nice. This is a phenomenal question, right? A phenomenal question. In fact, I've done some digging in this and there's a lot of answers. But there's a gentleman in the audience right now. His name is Richard Leet. And he's been ignored by other candidates with an amazing water program that he's developing for California. And why this is not good that he's been ignored, this guy's foundation is from the Leets, the original Leets. In fact, he looks like an identical clone of one of the first governors of America. Think about that, and he's been ignored. And it's incredible what he has. This guy is amazing in what he's created. Now, do I know it's gonna work? No, but you know what? I was willing to say, hey, let me see what you got, because we need new ideas. We know that 40 billion gallons of water is pouring in to the ocean or being lost every single day. Right now, we should have the ability to at least capture half of that. If we capture half of that, all of California is green. All of it. Farmers have all the water they need. But yet, you'll have somebody like Gavin Newsom, that his biggest donor is the Resnicks, who own 60 to 70% of the water rights in LA, where the Palisades burned down. Right? So we have to get rid of the corruption, but there's answers. But we need to pay attention and do new ideas, because nothing old has worked. Doesn't work. We have to go new.
Thank you so much for the question. Doug LaMalfa was a wonderful, wonderful man. I spent a lot of time with him. He taught me a lot about both those topics, especially forestry. We miss him greatly and we think of his family. So let me say what I can say quickly in the time that I have available. If you want a longer answer, forest management was actually the very first policy report I produced at my policy organization, Golden Together. You can read that report, Modern Forest Management, on the website goldentogether.com, but here's the basis of it. We got to put together the revival of our timber industry that's been destroyed by these insane environmental policies. So if you go back a few years, we used to take 6 billion board feet, out of the forests in timber in California. Do you know what it is today? 1.5. A quarter of what it was. We're using more, but what are we doing now? We are importing it. It's insanity. We're importing timber from Oregon and from Canada, for goodness sake. Now, President Trump has changed all that at the federal level. Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, a friend of mine, is implementing the president's executive order where possible. But guess who's fighting it? Gavin Newsom and the Democrats here in California. When I'm governor, we will work with Doug and his colleagues to revive our timber industry so we can manage our forests. Very quickly on water, I'm sorry. One of the other reports you can read at goldentogether.com, water abundance. Here's how we do it. Number one, even within the current water infrastructure we have, we can increase deliveries to our farmers. I've spent so much time in the Central Valley and with our farmers. In the state, in the federal system, for example, from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta through the Delta-Mendota Canal, just give me 1 second, you've got an increase in deliveries because of what President Trump has done. He's turned the tap up. That's what I will do in the state system. And then longer term, we need to build that infrastructure. Raise Shasta Dam, complete Sykes Reservoir, desalination. That's how we get the water we need.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton.
Hey guys. Right. So voters want a candidate that stand their ground when defending their values and their beliefs. Again, a lot of tough talk, but actions are what matter. So Sheriff Bianco, in June 2020, you were in a face-off with the anti-American, anti-police enemy BLM, and you took a knee. Hey, hate me all you want, it just fuels me. Just keep it coming. A few hours later, the looting started. Okay? So why should the voters trust you to hold the line next time? And what would the rest of you do differently than facing the same enemy?
It's interesting that you're coming here with your attitude, but your entire question is 2 lines. There were 10,000 people in downtown Riverside. There were 1,200 cops. 950 were my deputies. 300 were other law enforcement officers outside of that. No, I never took a knee to be on. So here's the thing. So for all of you Republicans out there, for all of you with a brain and who can critical think, right now, I am arguably the most respected law enforcement leader in the country. Right now, I am the most respected law enforcement leader in this state. Right now, I am the most respected law enforcement leader in my county, hands down. That never could be possible with what you just said happened to me kneeling to BLM. Absolutely not. Here's the answer. My God is far bigger than BLM. My God is far bigger than this room, your silly question, or the lie that the looting started after. My job that night, after we prayed for the safety of my deputies,
Don't insult me. I didn't ask you a question.
we're going to add time for him interrupting me.
Right there.
We're going to add time for him interrupting me.
Right there.
Here's the thing. After I told them personally that we were shutting them down because it was turning riotous, we gave them 20 minutes to leave. They asked if they could pray for my deputies. I said absolutely, and they did. 30 minutes later, we physically, with the most force ever used against a domestic terrorist organization without killing anyone, we removed them from Riverside with zero looting, with zero damage, and with zero injuries to my deputies. And to this day, those organizations put out across their social media, do not go to Riverside County because we can't help you with Sheriff Chad Bianco. It is a lie perpetrated by some candidates that never happened.
I'd like to thank Chad Bianco for revisionist history. And folks, I have a question. I have no problem here supporting, but this is a vetting process right now for candidates. So any question on stage, even a hard-hitting question at me, should come at it. That's what this is about. So I don't know why you would possibly shut that down. But you have the best, strongest sheriff here in all of California, yet he has a solved rate on crime of 9.2%. Right? Are you kidding me? He's also the highest paid sheriff. How exactly does that math add up? He spent $170,000 to go ahead and renovate what used to be an interrogation office and turn it into a lieutenant office. We should ask those questions. $50,000 for a door that the maximum price is $3,000. We're talking about race, fraud, and abuse. Everybody should be looked at. Jack should be looked at. I should be looked at. Serpa, Mercuri, Hilton, all of us. Bring it, because we need to be vetted, because we are for we the people, and that's it.
But the question I asked you was, what would you do differently? Okay. What would you have done differently in facing BLM? That's the question.
Okay. So first off, I'm going to piss off everybody, because that's what I like to do. Behind the woodshed is piss everybody off. Sheriff, you did kneel. But the thing is it doesn't bother me. And it shouldn't bother anybody when someone is participating in free speech. Free speech is not meant to protect comfortable speech. I can tell you this about my sheriff. Everybody, including all of the protesters, went home safe. All of the sheriffs went home safe. All of the deputies went home safe, and there was no property damage. So I'm sorry that free speech makes some people uncomfortable. That's just free speech. The second thing is what I would do differently. Well, I wouldn't have kneeled. I wouldn't have done that. But at the end of the day, I wasn't in the situation that he was in. My sheriff kept everybody safe. At the end of the day, what I want to do with ignorance is you give ignorance a microphone and a willing opponent. And what I didn't see from any of my city officials, no one was there. Not the city councilmen, not the county supervisors, not the congressmen, not the assemblymen, not the senators, but Sheriff Bianco was there. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right, I'm going to take this back. I think we've heard enough. I appreciate everybody's input on this. I'm going to...
He asked all of us what we would do differently. So your question was, what would we have done if we were in that situation? Of course, talk is cheap. We weren't there. Okay. Number two is whether you believe the sheriff took a knee or not. It was not really part of the question. It was to the rest of the candidates. He had a separate question. And then our question was, what would we do differently? And then if we were ever put in that situation, or what would we have done in retrospect? So what have I done for the United States? I'm an honorable discharged naval veteran. I served 2 tours, 3 operations. I served Operation Southern Watch, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now here's one of the things. A lot of people say, what have you done? I was in the middle of the aircraft when the jihadists were coming to actually ignite and swarm the carrier. And in that aircraft, they told us that we were the only ones close enough to get out there, hover out there, and put ourselves in between their surface-to-air missile and the carrier. So basically the pilot said, this is what we signed up for, are you ready? And that basically meant we were gonna die. We were gonna put ourselves and get blown out of the sky. And the hack put his hand in there and says, I'm ready. The pack put his hand in there and said, I'm ready. The crew chief and myself and said, I'm ready. What did I just say? I'm ready to die for my country. And we sat there sweating bullets in 120 degrees. We got a phone call back over the radio and said, come home, stand down. And we made it all the way back to where the aircraft almost crashed into the ocean. So what did I do with my country? I fought for my country. I owe nothing to no one. Now here's what I would have done differently. First off, you can't take a knee, whether you believe it or not. That's not for me to decide, that's for you to decide. Number two, it's antithetical for you to take an oath of office to anything that is Marxist. Marxism is the antithesis to the supreme law of the land. So you put me in office, as I've already demonstrated, I would never do anything of a sort because you require me and everybody else who's going to stand up here and say, I'm going to fight for your rights, I'm going to support and defend the Constitution with my very life, no matter what.
All right, so there's been a lot of overtime on this question. And indeed, I went a little bit over on my last answer, so I'm going to keep this one very, very short. Your question was, what would you differently? Look, I'm not running for sheriff, I'm running for governor. And so this is what I'm going to say very clearly. That my job as governor is to support law enforcement to the hilt. And what I will tell you right now is that I would never second guess the commander in the field dealing with a situation. That is not my job. That is not what I want to do here tonight either.
All right, thank you. The next question, if we all know that closing for filing is March 6th, if polling out there shows that you are not the top Republican candidate and you're trailing by more than 5 percentage points, would you be willing to bow out of the race to avoid splitting the vote in the primary? And this is a pretty short, easy answer. So I would say up to 30 seconds for each candidate, all 5. Up to 30 seconds.
Okay, so thank you for that question. I've made it very obvious to everybody, I've been very vocal about this. We need 8 executives, not 1. Schwarzenegger learned this the hard way. You can't fix it at the top of the ticket and nowhere else.
Right.
President Trump learned this the hard way in 2016. He couldn't do it by himself. He came in with a whole group in 2024. Right. If I am not picking up steam, hey, it might even be as early as next week. I'm happy to step out and endorse one of these gentlemen behind me for the good of the Republican Party and the good of the state of California. Thank you.
Cue the hate music. I'm not Republican. You hear the silence there? I have non-political preference because the California GOP is a captured operation. And they have no intent on winning anything because they don't make money when they're winning anything.
Right.
Right? So we need to be honest with ourselves. Would I support some candidates? Absolutely. If it's a deep state candidate hiding under the guise of being a Republican, no, but I sure in hell will call them out. So we'll have to look and see. March is a little bit away.
I'll keep this one short. No.
Chad.
Steve's waiting for me to answer. So let's all be very, very clear and very, very honest.
At the same time, Jack.
I'm only in this race because this is a Republican's race to lose. This is not. They're giving us this. Look at who's running. Look at everything that's happening. We can win unless we run the same campaigns, the same election that we always have, and we make a repeat of what we did 4 years ago. We have to get behind one person. You've seen a lot of passion, you've seen a lot of energy, you have a lot of great ideas. We're all conservative Republicans or an independent, and just since he's throwing it out there, I'm endorsed by the American Independent Party. With that, this is all of our problem. It's not about who has the best idea. It's not who about is the most fiery. It's about who can win a statewide election and who are we going to get behind to do it. My job as sheriff, I love it a lot better than even thinking about being governor. If I thought somebody was going to win, of course I would get behind it.
Thank you. 30 seconds.
This is by March 6th.
I agree. If I thought that someone here, or even someone who isn't here, could take the fight to the Democrats, beat them, restore our state to what it should be, that's what I'm in this for. That's what we're all in this for. I agree with Chad. I would do that. We still have a lot of campaigning ahead of us. We have to make sure that we have the strongest possible person to go into that fight against the Democrats. I know that a lot of people have been looking at the polls, which so usually me and Chad at the top. Sometimes it's Chad, sometimes it's me. The interesting thing is that it's often two Republicans at the top. And I know that some people like to speculate that maybe the two of us, Chad, will be in the... That would be a very, very fun general election to have, because we know that we would have sanity restored to California. We don't, to tell you, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is a fantasy. I think we do need to get behind one candidate. I will get behind a candidate if by that date it looks like the other candidate is stronger. Yes, I will make that pledge. But I tell you right now, I believe that I am going to be the stronger candidate because I have the business experience, the government reform experience, and the support. I've got 23 seconds.
We're only 30 seconds.
30 seconds. It was 30 seconds.
For this particular question.
I'm so sorry.
It was just 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I didn't hear the instructions. I'm sorry. I will make sure I go under on the next question. How much do I owe you in terms of time?
2 minutes.
All right.
Okay,
No,
thank you.
I apologize. I thought it was a minute
Thank you,
and a half.
Mr. Hilton. Okay, this question is going to go for Mr. David Serpa. Young people are leaving California because it's too expensive. It's not just housing, but what can we do to stop young people and important businesses from moving out of California? And what policies would you put in place to enable affordable housing, especially for first-time home buyers?
I'm so grateful for that question. Every event that I go to, young people flock to me. They love me. I was just being told in the intermission about how if this crowd was full of young people, I would win this debate hands down. And it's because they understand that I'm not here to leave them behind. I have 5 kids, 6 years old to 18 years old, and it feels like no one's looking out for the next generation. And it's because we're being led by a bunch of boomers who have been in power for 20 or 30 years. And so what we need to do is we need to start using some different policy. I would open up some of the 48 million acres of public land for development and building new cities. If we built 6 new cities the size of San Francisco or Sacramento, those are 60,000 acre cities. We would develop 300,000 acres of the 48 million acres. We would still have 47,700,000 acres of public land still available. We need to build more housing, give people the opportunity to build their own housing. Housing kits are making a comeback, just like when the Sears catalog came out years and years ago. We're building them off-site. I want to take care of their education system. I want to hold the universities and the state colleges responsible for the lack of education they are giving our children. I want to hold them responsible for the fact that they're bankrupting our children with student loan debt. And if they're not willing to start paying off our children's student loan debt, we'll go after their endowments, we'll go after their dowries, and we'll tax them into oblivion until we make them truly public again. Because public education should serve the American public. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask the other hard question. I'm sure you're all going to want to answer it. So election integrity. My friends in Shasta County dumped Dominion, and they're putting voter ID and same-day voting on the ballot in June. What will you all do to ensure election integrity? Thank you.
Thank you. First, Chad had a great point. He's been endorsed by the American Independent. This independent's been endorsed by Conservative Party USA, if that tells you anything. Conservative Party has endorsed me. Very important. So, in regards to election integrity, right? Thanks for chirping in, Chad. He's a troll also. So,
Keep it professional.
Thank you. In regards to election integrity, I'll be the first one to say out there is no integrity without reform. Right? Let's change our language. We must have election reform. Let's worry about integrity after we reform the elections. Right? Of course, we need the standard mantra. We need the paper ballots. We need the same day voting, on and on and on. I actually have written a proposal. Steve Hilton knows about this, Mercuri and Serpa. I'm going to get it to everybody. And it's an emergency order request to President Trump that a lot of our candidates are going to sign on, that is asking him to declare an emergency order in California for an election reform immediately. That will be in the President's hands. And by the way, my intent was not to take credit for this, as I told Steve Hilton, but it popped up, so we have to talk about it, right? Because it's not about me. This is about we the people taking California back and doing it right now. That will be in President Trump's hand within about 72 hours.
So election integrity, I think we've already said it. There is no integrity to our elections, and I think we know this. I think when it comes to election reform, here's something that I've been going around the state of California and trying to wake people up. Your county clerk, your county registrar, your office where your votes go to, you already have the authority right now to hold their feet to the fire. You already have the ability to look at their outlines as to what they're going to do to ensure, I believe it's in Article 2, to ensure that all votes are accounted for. And if they're not, what is the repercussions? What is the protocol? If you don't know, then your count might be counted by somebody else. Or you might not even get a ballot, or you're going to get multiple ballots. So one of the things that we can already do right now is to ensure that our counties purge the voter roll completely in its entirety. Why? Because dead people can't come re-register. Illegals aren't going to make their presence known. They're not going to send out a ballot to somebody who's out of state. So why are we doing this right now so that we can have an integrity-driven election this election cycle? It's not too late. So get up, get down to your county clerk's office, start pushing back, and start making sure that you understand the protocols and the nature of what's supposed to happen per your county, so we can get in somebody at this level to ensure we've got a good governor that's going to set the BS correct. And this is what we require from all of you. I require this, and we all need to participate. And one of the best things that I'm going to do is to make sure that if I become governor, the SOS is going to purge all of California and start new and force everybody to come back in and re-register. Thank you.
All right, let me pay back some of my dues. I'll do this in 30 seconds. Number one, right now, we've all got to get behind voter ID. When we get voter ID on the ballot, when we get that across the line, that will be a first step. Number two, clean up the voter rolls. That is already happening. We need to push it further. Partly from the federal government, we can do more here. And then when I'm governor, we're going to fight for very simple things. Paper ballots. Vote on one day. Count on one day. Get the results on one day. Note that the rest of the world does it like that. Why can't we?
So you realize we're all doing the same thing. It's a conservative, common sense approach. We absolutely, 80% of the state, the 20% are lunatics that are benefiting from the rigged elections. 80% of the state wants fair elections. Fair elections are exactly what he just said that we can all agree with. That's what we all want. Here's the thing for all of you. Stop freaking talking about it. Stop complaining and bitching about stolen elections and about election rigging, because what that does is the people, the 60% of us that don't vote, fact, that's math, 60% don't vote, and it's because they have this attitude of, it's rigged, there's nothing we can do, my vote doesn't count, they're picking the elections already. And I'm going to leave you with this. President Trump is the only person that can talk about stolen election. President Trump's 2020 election was stolen completely, and we all know it. And here's the thing. In 2024, he never said it once. He said, make it too big to rig, because he knows that the only reason way he was going to win is if those 60% of people that don't vote get off their lazy butts and go vote. Quit complaining about election rigging. We'll fix it all when you elect one of us, but we aren't going to do it till it's there. You have to sign the petition. You have to get that on the voter rolls. We have to bring people out to vote, and we have to get somebody in there to fix the system that was designed to make sure that Democrats stay there.
One of the things that we need to start doing is talking about government correctly. If we want to Doge California, that office already exists. It's the controller's job. If we want to get control of the money, that office already exists. That's the treasurer's job. And if we want to get control of our elections, that job already exists. It's the Secretary of State's job. But we continue to send these losers to Sacramento, and we don't send somebody who's a rock star who can actually fix it. I have asked 3 different people to run for Secretary of State. The first person I asked was Chris Bish. She's not interested. She wants to run for Congress. The second person that I asked was Shiloh Marks. I said, you're doing a better job getting control of the voter rolls than the Secretary of State's office. And the third person that I asked to run for Secretary of State's office is right there, Daniel Mercuri. Yeah. I can't imagine a better person going in and taking control of the voter rolls, cleaning them up, and saving our elections. I think that it's something that we need to do here in California. We need to go in as a team. But one of the best ways that we could do it this time is same-day voting, voter ID, and paper ballots. We go back to the past, so then that way we can take a step forward in confidence. Get the Secretary of State's office on an app so that we know who's running for Assembly, Senate, Congress, and the executive seats, because it's way too much work navigating the Secretary of State's office. And then finally make it possible for us to vote on a blockchain instantaneously. It's the same way that we count our money on Wall Street. It's instantaneous. It should be the same way that we count our votes. Thank you.
To be clear, I just want you guys to know there's nothing personal behind the questions that I'm asking. My only concern is love of country and having a standard for fighting for it. That's it. I mean, if you think that these questions are hard, just imagine what's going to happen in the general election. Sonia asked me to ask a question from the audience, from Christine and Eric Fleming, founders of California Family Law Naked Truth. I think this goes for all you guys because I don't see a name on here, but considering the widespread corruption and lack of due process in California's family courts, where judges often ignore evidence and place children with abusers, how would you as governor work to reform the system, ensure fair hearings, and hold judges accountable for their actions, given the governor's power to influence state agencies and oversee the judiciary, such as the California Commission on Judicial Performance, CCJP? Would you advocate for and push for reform in the family court system?
I want to start this one. First off, I don't know if you know, my name is Daniel Mercuri. I'm running for California governor. And to David Serpa, I only asked one other person to run as my lieutenant governor, and that was David Serpa. And I think right now anybody who's blowing up the stage is myself and David Serpa. That's my personal opinion. To answer your question when it comes to judicial performance, yes, as a governor, there's 11 bodies. 11 bodies under the California State Constitution. It stipulates that the governor can actually appoint 4 of the 11 bodies. Not to mention that the governor can also appoint judges in the state of California and tie them to the Judicial Performance Committee appointees to start pushing back with these lawfare activist judges who are tearing apart what our judges are supposed to do, and that is to ensure justice, but they don't. They ensure law and legal loopholes. Justice and law are not synonymous, though they want you to think that. Justice comes by way of the people under the Constitution, 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendment that break up the courts under trial jury. And yet they keep family court under civil. And that makes sure that you stand in front of only a judge. So under an EC Prius court, that court, meaning an inferior court, you're always going to be decided by one person. It shouldn't be that way. And so under my administration, you're going to have the power back. We're going to push back with these judges. We're going to get them benched. We're going to get them removed. And we're going to appoint new judges that are about ensuring that justice stands and that they don't try to change the law.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for that answer. This is one of the most disgusting things I hear on the road. Families ripped apart by this evil, that's what it is. This evil ideology that's infected our courts, that's infected our bureaucracy, a lot of it driven by gender ideology, that's ripping children away from their loving parent and putting them in the hands of those who would harm them. We've got to stop this. This is a massive, massive scandal that no one wants to talk about. We should be talking about it. What you said on the judicial aspect I completely support. I'm not going to repeat that. I want to talk about the bureaucracy. Child Protective Services, the Department of Child Services, all of these institutions are rotten to the core. They are infected with an evil, and I say that word again, that is the right word, an evil ideology. They have to be closed down. We have to rebuild from the ground up these organizations that are true to our children, and to end this absolutely despicable evil that is hurting so many more people than anyone knows. And it starts by talking about it, and that's why I'm so grateful for the question and the opportunity for all of us to answer.
There was an independent audit that was done by the state auditor's office, and they found that the #1 agency that was considered the most high risk of all of the agencies in California was the Department of Social Services. We need to understand that we're called, above all things, to look after our widows and orphans. And what's happened is, in our foster care system, in Child Protective Services, we've started preying on our children. We've started creating financial incentives to rip children away from their parents and then give them to someone else. When they go after CPS, we need to make it so that every single child that is looked at for human trafficking is no longer becoming a ward of the state. That's one of the biggest problems that we have. When there's a runaway, that child is returned to the state instead of returned to their loving parents that has their best interest at heart. And then finally, we have to go after the money, because we've created a huge financial incentive for children to be ripped away from their parents. We've created all these group homes and foster homes, and everything is about the destruction of the family. And then finally, the judges. The governor appoints about 11 to 14 judges annually, which means that if Governor Newsom appointed that many judges, he's appointed about 50 judges in the last 5 years. That's something that we all need to be concerned about. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm the only one that has been working intimately with CPS for the past 32 years. Law enforcement knows that CPS is absolutely broken, and I do just have to disagree. This does not get fixed from the bottom up. This gets fixed from the top down. There are fantastic CPS workers out there that have their absolute hands tied because of a broken system and agenda that starts in Sacramento and goes down. Yes, it has to absolutely be ripped apart and done over, but it's not from the bottom up. There are good people out there that want to do good things that are prevented by a government that doesn't want it to happen. From the law enforcement world, we sit and we shake our hands or shake our heads and say, what do you mean you took the kids away from that family? And then others, you're giving them back to them? It's absolutely broken, and it is ridiculous, but it's the people at the top. And I've been there for the last 32 years. I know all of them that are at the top, and I know every single one of them that's going to lose their job once you elect me. We will fix this because it is absolutely the responsibility of adults to take care of kids that can't take care of themselves. And when other adults abuse those kids, we have to rescue those kids. But when it is not, when it is the system that is abusing those kids and those parents, we also have to step in. And we're talking about judges. Do all of you know that you put those judges in place? Yes, the governor can appoint some, but you are electing those people. You don't even know who you elect. You don't even, I guarantee you're not researching the judges that you vote for. You look at who's in office and you vote yes, or you look at who's not in office and you vote yes, but you don't know who's going in there.
Thank you.
We will fix CPS, and don't limit it to CPS and family law. This is criminal law, civil law, and family law. We have to fix our justice system.
We can restart.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Restart it, thank you. Where money goes, corruption flows. So, we need to talk about the family court corruption, because I can tell you right now that somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000 is the price they put on a child's head. That's the type of money that goes through the court system and through foster care. Think about that. And all the attorneys like to get their hands on that. So they have no reason to fight for the child. Did you know, let's talk about a percentage. Did you know that 90% of the children that are taken out of the home could have stayed there for about $2,500 because it's generally a financial, education, or cleanliness issue that's in the home. Think about that. So we're ripping children out of their homes and spending up to $100,000 when we could rehabilitate and help the parent be a better parent for $2,500. And then they get into a system that doesn't care. Or there's a case with Adam Vina, a wonderful, wonderful person. All he did is text his ex and say, I don't want my little boy wearing a dress, right? They got an activist judge, and now they're in the middle of trying to change chemically that child's sex, and that same judge and the judge previously happened to be on a committee in order to promote that. Family court needs to be audited and taken down immediately.
All right. Thank you very much. This next question is for David Serpa and Daniel Mercuri. So when it comes to, in the context of state housing mandates, what, in your opinion, is the real cause of the increase in housing prices, and what's your solution?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the question. One of the biggest things that we as Christians, we like to talk about, we like to talk about the Bible, we like to talk about our faith, but how come we're not talking about usury? How come we're not talking about the amount of interest that is being charged on student loans, on housing, on credit cards? At some point or another, we need to reevaluate our financial systems and understand that freedom is economic freedom. And so what we need to do is we need to get control of the banking system. We need to get control of our currency. But we also need to understand that if in supply and demand, the way that it works, if you put in more supply, then the cost comes down. We need to give more power to individuals to develop their own lots. For the first time in history, actually for the first time since the 1940s, the Sears catalog essentially is coming back. People used to say, my grandpa built this house. You guys are going to be able to build your own houses again because more of the housing is being built off-site. You could buy housing from the TikTok shop. You could buy housing from Amazon, from Tesla, from Walmart. We're getting to where it's more and more accessible. And if you could buy a piece of land for $30,000 and you could buy a housing kit for $30,000, all of a sudden you're buying a house for $60,000 versus $900,000 at a 9% interest rate with a 50-year loan. That's madness. We need to attack the whole system, flip it upside down, and give the power back to the individuals. Thank you.
So one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually own your property free and clear without having to pay property tax. So one of the things is, and it's an abrogation to our rights, is the state is always run like a business. That's the dumbest thing that you can do. That has nothing to do with good governance. When it comes to running the state like a business, they force the people to have to meet on the profit margin, irrelevant if it's made in bad faith. So the states, when they joined the union, became the trustees of the land. So then the banks came in and they buy up that land, which used to be called an allodial title. An allodial title meant that you own the land, you own the soil, you own the airspace, including when it comes to some of our farmers with their water, and they have senior water rights pre-legislation. That means they control all of that, that's theirs. And they're the ones who are feeding us, and yet we have corruption here in the state that charges them about $1,000 if they go over that. The problem is that the state utilizes the property to raise it up yearly so they can generate revenue. And last time I checked, I always hear, we're the 4th largest economy, right? That's great, but to whose prosperity? To the state's overinflated budget, or to the people's bank accounts? Because I know it's not in your account. So one of the best things that we can do is open up those patent offices so that you, the people, once you pay off the lien from the bank, you can now go in and find out how much is left on that actual land so you can own the property in and of itself, and watch how much higher the value of your land goes up when one day you want to pass it down or sell it. It doesn't belong to the government, it belongs to the people. That's what you're going to get with me and Daniel Mercuri.
Thank you. This next question is by Matthew Kennedy and Nicole Satterley from Hermosa Beach, MAGA. And this is going to go to Mr. Steve Hilton and Mr. Herms. What can you do as governor to bring oil refineries back to California to lower gas prices to the national average price?
All right. I've spent a lot of time in Kern County. I've been on the oil fields. I've studied the issue. This is an absolute insane situation we're in here in California. We have abundant oil and gas reserves in California. Not that long ago, around 80% of what we used in California, we produced in California. Now these climate fanatics have turned that on its head. We are importing nearly 80% of our oil and gas. It is a disgrace. We're shipping it in on giant supertankers. The number one provider of oil for California today, Iraq. It is insane. Here's what we're going to do. The way that they are shutting down our oil industry is not legislation, it is administrative action, specifically CalGEM, California Geologic and Energy Management. They are refusing to issue permits for maintaining existing wells, for expanding them, for drilling new wells in existing fields. I've seen it. Half the wells you look out of these oil fields aren't working. I will kick out the climate fanatics from CalGEM, put in place pro-energy people, end the ridiculous refinery regulations, produce California oil and gas, and then we won't be heading from $5 gas to $6 gas or $7 or even $8 when these refineries shut down. We'll be producing the oil here, giving business to our refineries so they stay open, and when we do all of that, we create jobs and opportunity in Kern County, and we get $3 gas in California.
Steve's got it mostly right. I would add on, though, the fact is, why are we ignoring the overtaxation and the extra regulation that's put on that actually stifles us completely? So you can never get down to $3 unless we address the overtaxation and the fake regulations that they call environmental, right? So obviously we have to bring back as many refineries as we can. But while we're doing that, there's something else that we can do, and it's proven. We can actually go and take energy from the landfills, and it's proven. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. 97.5% of it can be recycled and put into a vat, and it literally turns into energy for 40% of the cost of what we pay right now. Why aren't we talking about new ideas? We're constantly going back to the old ideas. The other thing is, when we reduce the regulation, all these businesses that are leaving Standard Oil are going to come right back. Right? And we need to innovate then to come right back. Why is it that our trucks have to stop at the border and change over because of the environmental regulations that their trucks have to have? All that goes right back into making it too much costly. But here's the deal. Oil refineries alone are not going to fix the problem. This is a multifaceted problem, and we need to think out of the box on this.
A similar question to Carlos. This is from a resident in Montebello. What will you do about the energy problems in California, make it less expensive? My kids pay a lot for PG&E and they're getting kind of tired of it. And how do we get rid of the windmills that are all over our hills? I guess Mercuri and Serpa. Bianco?
Well, one of the things that they've done is, of course, they've shut down clean energy, which a lot of our nuclear power plants have been shut down. And so they want us to go green, but yet we don't generate enough power to actually go green. And then in order for us to actually use solar, well, they created the Ivanpah solar panel farm out here in California that was a $2.2 billion debacle that they just shut down this last September in 2025 because, well, it didn't actually work, couldn't generate the amount of power that we actually need right now. And then not to mention, they actually hurt the wildlife. So all these green activists burned up all these birds in mid-flight. And then here's the genius behind them. They still had to use natural gases to actually power up the solar panel in order for them to generate the power that we were supposed to go green. So this is the sort of backward thinking and ignoramuses that we have up in office. So under my administration, we have to turn back on many of the nuclear power plants that we require, including if we want water and we want to open up new desalination plants. You know what they require? They require kilowatts. California can be energy independent, and that is one of the things that we are missing. And the last thing too is that we've had past governors that have actually allowed PG&E and a number of others who have actually allowed for them, when they get sued because of their own mishaps, they can turn around and they can charge their customers the amount of money that they've been sued, so you get to pay on their debacle. So you put me in office, that's going to be removed. We're going to open up most of our clean energy nuclear power plants. We're going to turn back on the oil, and we're going to stop using this Go Green until it's been tried and true. And then we're going to lower the cost back down because we're going to ensure that competition stays paramount, because that's what every company should be doing. They should be competing for your
Mr.
money.
Mercury. Thank you.
I wrote a couple of books, over 900 pages, called Common Sense for California. Now, I needed over 900 pages because common sense isn't common in California. So what we need to do is we need to start looking at water and energy, which is chapter 1 of my book. And we need to understand that our water and our energy have been under deliberate attack because we are the breadbasket of America. California is the breadbasket of America. Iran is the breadbasket of the Middle East. Punjab is the breadbasket of India. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. We have been attacked because we're farmers. We grow our food. And so they have to shut down our water and shut down our energy, which is why they shut down San Onofre nuclear power plant. They wanted to shut down Diablo Canyon, and they privatized nuclear energy in 1994. Since then, we have been being dog-walked on a national stage, and we no longer even enrich uranium in America anymore. 40% of our uranium is enriched in China, 30% is enriched in Russia, and we just funded the Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing company to build their largest facility right here in America because we're no longer processing lithium either. We need to nationalize our water, our energy, our lithium, our uranium, so that our gas is not just $3 a gallon. Our gas should be $2 a gallon, but we have been taken over and conquered, and our sovereignty has been denied to us, just like it has everyone else throughout the world. Thank you.
So with me as your governor, we will start on the direct path of eventually getting to 100% nuclear, because that is the way you go. That is the way that you do it. The cheapest, the cleanest, the safest. It is 100% nuclear. The reason why they shut that down is because Bill Gates couldn't make money off of nuclear. We went green. The good thing for all of us Republicans, if you're not paying attention to Bill Gates is now all of a sudden saying, oh, it's not that bad. Oil's not that bad. Coal's not that bad. We need to utilize coal, and we need to utilize oil, because they're moving to how they can make more money in the next realm. Green is gone. The windmills, disgusting. They can't supply us our energy. They shut down the solar because it doesn't work. It can't work, and they knew it couldn't work. We moved toward nuclear, but in the meantime, we have to become oil independent in California. Stop buying it from other countries and from other states. We absolutely must drill our own oil. Here's the thing. You treat it like Texas, you treat it like Alaska, you drill your own oil. There is a fee that comes with the oil companies drilling their own oil and pumping it from the ground that they pay to the state willingly. It's built into the cost of oil. Texas does it, Alaska does it, it's the way it happens. Here's the deal. 80% of the oil that we import on purpose on our backs makes Iran rich. If, when they bring that in, that 80%, they pay nothing to the state. With me being oil independent in California, making it oil independent in California, the money generated from just pumping our own oil that we absolutely need and must have, completely funds state government.
Thank you, Sharon.
When I am done, you will not pay a state income tax in California.
Hi guys, so this question is for all of you. We'll start with Louis. California is a sanctuary state for illegal aliens, and there are many cases of violent crimes committed by illegals against innocent American citizens, including rape and murder and drunk driving accidents resulting in death. So when an illegal alien commits violence against an American citizen, how will you hold accountable every single official up and down the line who allowed the violent criminal alien to enter our country, illegally remain here, and authorize their release from detention on any level? Someone's got to pay the price for what happened to the citizen of this country, and they're just walking around like nothing happened.
So sanctuary city cannot exist, state cannot exist. There is no sanctuary for illegals. It's that simple. Now, we need to be compassionate, but we don't need to be compassionate with somebody that illegally came over the border, right?
No.
Now, we can compassionately get them back into their country, but if they break the law, they need to be held accountable. But the challenge is, our sheriffs, wholesale, are not doing their job. The sheriffs are not supporting the right people. The sheriffs are not enforcing the law. A lot of law enforcement is. Some law enforcement is doing a great job. We hold them up. Hold the accountable the ones that aren't. I have a website that we're working on that will be implemented soon, and then we'll go on to exposure.ca.gov when I'm governor. It's called Exposure. Anybody not doing their job, they will be called out on the website for we the people to hold them accountable so they know exactly what's going on, so the pressure comes from you. You're the top, we're not the top. We are an employee of you, and we have to understand that. I'm running for Guardian of California, and you are my governors.
I'm not sure you answered. I'm not sure you really answered it though. Like, what I'm asking is, what's that? You understand? People need to be held accountable, right? That allowed for these people to be released, who have committed the crimes. Held account. Someone needs to pay the price for what's happened. Okay, and okay, I think you understand, right?
So you're not going to hold them accountable if our officers are not doing their jobs and if the judges are corrupt. So it's a systematic issue that we have going on here, right? So we have to tear it down and bring it back up sometimes, but you must expose the ones that are not doing the job. And exposure is first, and then we can hold them accountable on a legal aspect.
Okay. The problem is the system. You guys need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them accountable at the ballot box so they can't write these stupid laws so that they end up being enforced. And honestly, we need to stop looking at immigration like it's this sort of two-tiered thing where it's like, oh, well, these are the sweetheart immigrants that broke our law coming here, and these are the mean immigrants that we only go after because they're violent. I am 100% about the next generation, and you cannot give away all of our social safety systems to a bunch of illegal immigrants and expect there to be anything available for our children. Our children deserve every single last bit of our tax dollars, the inheritance that is our birthright. We need to be leaving to them to be educated, to take the jobs of the future. They should not be sleeping under bridges. They should not be sleeping in their cars. They should not be uneducated. They should not be $100,000 in student loan debt. They should not be struggling to buy new homes just so that we can take care of illegal immigrants that shouldn't have been here in the first place. We need to go on we need to have a moratorium on all immigration for at least the next 4 or 5 years. We don't need a single immigrant, legal or illegal, until we start doing a better job taking care of the people that are already here. Taking care of our children, taking care of our elderly, and finally, this money, it goes to illegal immigrants while yours, the seniors, all of your pensions, if they're with the state of California, are at jeopardy because they are $1 trillion in the hole, according to the state of California.
Well, let me first correct something. Illegal immigrant, that's an oxymoron. Immigrant means that you actually came here correctly, you went through naturalization, you did it the right way. No, you're an illegal alien who's nothing more than an invader. Let's get that right. You asked the question about the people who allowed for the sanctuaries to get these illegals in here. Okay, if you go out front and you're going to see this, this has been one of my main platforms since I ran for Congress back in 2019, jumped right into the recall in the 2022 prime. It hasn't changed. Prison is the solution for corrupt representation. Nothing less will do. If you allow for illegal aliens, you pass sanctuary laws, you have violated your oath of office. When I look at the California State Constitution, I really encourage everyone to read it. There's some really good nuggets in there. When you look at the California State Constitution, Article 1, Section 1819, it talks about harboring. That means if you allowed your city to make these people or allow for them to stay here, you are harboring an invader. End of story. So what are we going to do about these people? Well, the governor has all these other seats that have to report to them. You've got the AG, who has 5,000 lawyers and a bunch of investigators. Why would you not start investigating expeditiously every single local city council and mayor or any other law enforcement official who failed to enforce the Constitution first, which is there to design to do one job? Your representative have one job. It's in the Declaration of Independence. That governments are instituted among men to do one thing: secure your rights, not the alien.
Thank you, Mr. Mercuri.
That's me.
This has to be a rational response. So I get your frustration, and unfortunately, they made immoral and wrong legal. So you can't go back and change the law again and then prosecute them for doing something that they did. All we can do is get them out of office. We have to expose them. We have to get them out of office. I wish it was the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. We take them behind the shed and beat the shit out of them. That's what should happen, but that can't happen. So here's the thing. Everybody wants to criticize and everybody wants to do sheriff stuff until it comes time to do sheriff shit, and then you can't do it. Here's the thing with illegal immigration. This is what we have to realize. Everything with our sanctuary state, there are federal laws that control immigration, and our federal government is broken. They have not done it. Biden didn't do it for 4 years. He created this situation for President Trump to come back in and enforce them, and now use him like he's doing something illegal and wrong when all he is doing is enforcing immigration. Here's the thing that nobody wants to talk about, and this is where sometimes I get criticized. From a sheriff level, I despise sanctuary state. It is wrong. We did it right before 2017 when they changed it and prevented us from cooperating with ICE and deporting these illegal immigrants that are here illegally committing crimes and violating us in public. I cannot, as a law enforcement officer, have people that are here illegally, a 16-year-old girl, afraid to report to local law enforcement that she was raped because she's afraid of being deported. Local law enforcement cannot be involved in the ground level enforcement of immigration because those people will be victimized to no end, and there's nothing we would ever be able to do about it. It is absolutely morally wrong.
Thank you.
We need to deport criminals. The federal government needs to deport the rest.
I'll be very quick, because I don't want to repeat what's been said. We're all against the sanctuary state, insanity. The question was about holding people accountable. As governor, if there was anyone employed by the state, employed directly by the executive branch, who had a hand in a crime committed by an illegal immigrant, then they will be fired. That is a very clear piece of accountability that has to happen. But you can't fire someone who you don't employ. And so we have to be realistic about what we can do. And everyone has said the right things here. Exposure is incredibly important. The governor can have a huge role in that, in shining a spotlight on these disgusting acts by officials who put ideology ahead of the safety of the public. So when it comes to illegal immigrants and crime, that is 100% where we have to go. We have to fire anyone who is directly responsible, and then when we can't do that, we have to use the power of exposure to put pressure on them to change their behavior. And there's one final thing I'll say. We were talking about housing earlier. We wouldn't have a housing crisis if we didn't have the level of illegal immigration that we have in this state especially. These things go together. David Serpa is exactly right. We have to put the needs of our people, our community first on all of these issues.
Okay, thank you. I think Sonia Green, did you have an announcement?
I do have an announcement. Do you guys mind if I make one little announcement? Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a cheer first. I'm kidding. Okay, so just to let you guys know, I appreciate all of you being here. All of you have been very gracious, and a little bit here and there, but you know what? We're all people. We're not all perfect, so I just want to thank you. With that being said, around 6:10, I have some wonderful people coming in, and we'd like to, make a donation for the church, for him believing in me and allowing me to have this event for all of you, so we can see what's going on, right? So I just wanted to make that announcement. And again, also, I will probably be closing up around 6:15 because I need to make sure all of y'all eat over there. There's a lot of food now. We can't take all that back, so you go over there and eat it. Sorry, your question?
Delicious food.
Yay! See, I picked the right one. His name is Jimbo. I'm a racquetball player. Okay, love you.
Okay, so we have time for one more question? Okay, all right. 2 more questions, 2 more answers. All right, so I have a question, and we'll go with Hilton and Herms on this one. So we just learned through this independent state auditor that over $70 billion is unaccounted for, right? Through whatever, you can characterize it however you want, waste, fraud, abuse, whatever. What would you do on day one to address that issue, as opposed to what the current administration is doing, which is basically turning a blind eye?
So the issue is waste, abuse, redundancy, and fraud, which would be what we call WARF. Now, I've been saying for several years that California probably has about 70% is waste, abuse, fraud, so on and so forth. And people told me I was crazy about 5 years ago. Now I have people calling me and texting me daily and saying, Lewis, you're right. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go in there, we have to super doge California. 100%.
Yes.
And we're going to take it to a level that you can't possibly imagine, and we have to hold people accountable for this because it's outright theft. I can tell you I have a gentleman in the audience right now, he's a good friend of mine, David Kennedy, who's an attorney that has been investigating stolen school bonds for California for a long time. Did you know there's a major case that's been at the AG for 10 months and they're ignoring it? Imagine a school bond where it takes $50 million to build a high school, but they put a $100 million bond up for it. Instead of taking $50 million, it takes about $75 million because the same people that finance the marketing on the bond are doing what? They're the ones that all got the contracts. And then you refinance this and put it on what I call illegal long measures of 8-9% interest, and now we are paying for what should have been a $50 million high school, $150 million, $500 million. It's ridiculous. So we need to go through the whole system from the beginning to the end and take it out, and then put everything in regards to the budget itemized online for we the people to audit every single portion.
Thank you. And the question specifically as it relates to what the auditor found on the 70 billion plus.
Well, the 70 billion was the high-risk programs, and everything, as far as I'm concerned, is a high-risk program now in California, because these people, this corrupt machine, has taken our money and let it be stolen, go into the pockets of their corrupt cronies. You see it with the homeless industrial complex. That was 24 billion out of the 70. You see it with CalWorks. You see it with CalFresh, the food stamps, Medicaid, 13 billion in medical spending for illegal immigrants. That's, as far as I'm concerned, fraud. On and on and on. I'm already dealing with it before I'm even elected. That's why I got together with Herb Morgan running for controller. A month ago, we set up our fraud line, califraud.com. We have had hundreds of whistleblowers sending us the places to look for the fraud. We've been going through all those details. We've been doing this work already, getting to the details of where this corruption and fraud lies. That's how we got to our total of $250 billion we announced this week. Next week, there'll be more. We do need to doge California. That is the responsibility of the governor. And here's a simple way for everyone to think about it. If you want less fraud, we need less government. We have to take a sledgehammer to the bloated welfare state that they've built, stealing our money and stealing our future. As governor, I will rip it down.
Thank you, Mr. Hinton. question for Mr. Serpa, Mr. Mercuri, and Sheriff Bianco. From Angela Salinardi from Huntington Beach. As a person who practices holistic health, after seeing the damage that the current Western medicine protocol caused my family, I would like to know your stance on medical freedom and allowing the people to choose how they heal their bodies and their children.
Okay, great question. So one of the things that the treasurer is responsible for is not just education, economic development, but is health. And so the way that we finance all of this, we spend the second most amount in the country, the California taxpayer does, than any other private entity towards directly spending on health. What I think that we need to do in order to drive the cost down is we need to kick the FDA out of California. We need to get rid of a lot of the federal oversight and allow for just state oversight, because we have too much redundancy in too many different organizations where we've already got a state entity, but then we have a federal entity doubling up on that. And so what it ends up becoming is, when you're trying to bring a drug to market, it ends up becoming a pay-to-play system. And so by developing a truly private system where people can be snake oil salesmen, because if we find a snake oil that cures cancer, fantastic. Our industry right now is set up not to cure diseases, but to treat them, because that's where the money is. And so what we need to do is we need to have complete and total medical freedom by getting rid of the FDA. But then I also want to bring back the public hospital. I want to get to a surplus here in the state of California so that we can show people that not only can we pay for infrastructure, not only can we pay for education, but we will actually save money by getting involved in healthcare and taking on the direct corrupt pharmaceutical companies and Pfizer and everyone else that has been laundering our money while keeping us sick.
Thank you, Mr. Serpa. Mr. Mercuri?
One of the biggest reasons why I always start off with the Constitution is because I want you to understand where my answers come from. They don't just come from, I'm just pulling it out of thin air. And it's because it's where your power is derived from, right? Government derives their just power from the consent of the governed. That means your status is above government at all times. I'm not here to lead you. I don't want to lead you. I don't care to lead you. We don't need new leaders. We need new servants. I'm here to serve you. Amen. So one of the things when it comes to our health is that's actually an abrogation, or it's a violation of the General Welfare Clause, as well as the Necessary Proper Clause, which is Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18. There's 18 authoritative powers. Controlling the behavior of the people is not one of them, which means your health is up to you. And when it comes to the General Welfare Clause, well, that basically was Adams and Hamilton when they debated on taxation and congressional spending. Had nothing to do with your health. In fact, if I look at American jurisprudence, I know a lot of you read that. When you look at American jurisprudence under 16, I think it's volume A or whatever, you'll notice in section 98, it says that no emergency has just cause to suppress the Constitution or the Constitution of the United States. That means the government should have worked around your rights, not tell you to mask up, not tell you to sit there and stand 6 feet apart. It was not in their purview. So under my administration, medical freedom is going to be paramount in this state, and we're going to get rid of the childhood vaccinations under SB 276 and 277. And this is what I stand on, is medical freedom and making sure that California is going to be medically free. Thank you.
I think we strayed a little bit from the original question, but medical care and medical health, I will tell you, this is your governor, there will not be a mandate for vaccines ever again. You will not have to vaccinate your kids to get them into school. We have to absolutely realize that we are now learning from the doctors, the nurses, the scientists, and everything else that we've been lied to for years. We've been lied to about vaccines, about the safety of vaccines. We've been lied to about the food that we are eating, and we have to realize that we have all been pawns in a money-making scheme for other people. It didn't come out today, but it's being broadcast all over today because Kennedy testified about it yesterday. 70%, so look around the room, 70% of America is suffering from disease. 70%. And let me tell you something, we're here in a church. God didn't do this. God didn't give us genetic disorder last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. We have done it to ourselves because we listened to a lying government that told us what to eat, told us what we had to do, told us we had to inject things into our bodies, told us we had to do all of these things, and we have been lied to so other people made money. I pay $2,900, almost $3,000 a month for health insurance. We haven't, my family hasn't been to the doctor in 20 years, and I only went then because I blew out my knee and somebody had to fix it for me. We don't eat what people tell us to eat. She and I eat nothing but red meat, and it's only been red meat for the last 3 years, and we are perfectly healthy. We need to be responsible for ourselves, and we need to be truthful about how we got here. And as governor, we will not have these ridiculous health mandates. We will not have. You all had either 8 or 12 vaccinations. Some of you are young, so I can't see them. Right now, 72. Absolutely ridiculous. That ends with me as your governor, and they're still pushing it, even though they know that they are harming us.
Thank you.
We need to take care of ourselves.
Thank you, Sheriff Bianco.
All right, Sonia Green.
Okay, so guys, I hope that you got to hear some really good responses and information. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, I do. I have a question for all the candidates.
Okay, we're out of time. Yeah, we're at 20-second answer? 10 seconds.
So I saw on the Southern California Instagram account that 50% of investors have bought the Palisade Fire homes in their land. I also want to know, what would you guys do to combat Blackstone for buying over, in 10 years from now, 70% they'll own over 70% of single-family homes?
Hey, look, President Trump just tweeted the other day that he's going to ban corporations from buying homes because homes are for families. The other thing that he did was cap credit card interest at 10%. So President Trump is standing up for us right now and making it more possible for young people to buy, pay off debt, and move into the future. Thank you.
Hilton didn't answer the medical freedom question.
One different answer in regards to the Palisades specifically, because Serpa's right. I'm the only one that has a solution to prevent the Palisades land grab. It's been on my website. I was at the Palisades on August 12th. It's an actual affidavit that people can sign to say, I am securing my land. I did not leave it via fire. I am not abandoning my land. And it works because they file it with the LA County. It goes on the title. It cannot be stolen. And all you need is about one out of every 4 properties.
Okay, we got to make it short.
Do that,
I'm so sorry.
And they cannot grab the land because they cannot build contiguously. That's a solution.
Very good.
It's already there.
20 seconds.
I'll just keep it, so we all get 20 seconds. So 20 seconds, you were asking what would we do to kind of fight back. Basically, again, I can go back to the state constitution. It prevents us from anybody coming in and buying up natural resources or anything that is damaged. And so right there is a preventative measure that the governor can take to ensure that corporations don't come in and take advantage of somebody who is unfortunately going through a horrible event. Right there you go.
Steve Hilton.
Right. I was there in the Palisades this week. I am with you. It is disgusting what is being done there and right across our state. Here's the answer. Yes, we end the corporate ownership. As has been mentioned, the president's already leading on that. We have to end the war on single-family homes. Telling everyone to live in apartments, no parking, use transit. That's not the California dream. That is the death of the California dream. We need to be the death of that ideology and restore the California dream and restore single-family home ownership for young people in particular who deserve that right.
Thank you very much. This will conclude. Do we have someone? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
It's going to be less than 20 seconds. I guarantee you those answered your questions. You have the same answers. We all have the same answers because it's common sense. We have to get rid of this agenda that does not want private home ownership or private business ownership. And it only happens if we win this election. We have one chance. One chance. And historically, Democrats are going to do everything they can to keep us out of this election and make sure that it's 2 Democrats going to November. If we run the same campaign that we've run for the last 20 years, we're going to lose by the same numbers. We are sacrificing ourselves and our families to be up here doing this and traveling this state. And I'm going to put it back on all of you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure we win? Because this is our election to lose, and we absolutely must save our state.
Okay, so guys, thank you very much. I want to let you know, please go to each candidate's website, take a look at it, make sure you donate. Also, if you want to get on the email list for Patriots for Freedom Club, please go to where you RSVP'd, or if you have another question you want to submit through there, that's fine too. If you have not received a ballot when you first came in, go to the RSVP where you registered as well and just cast your vote that way, and we'll tally it up. I promise. We won't have any Dominion machines. I promise. Okay. So, and also I want to let you know to make sure that you know that the ballot box are out front. If you have your hard ballot, drop it off in there. Again, please give each and every single one of these brave men a round of applause. I am so honored. Thank you so much. Yes, panelists up here, take a picture. Stay there for a photo. I'm not photogenic, so you guys get up here.
All right, y'all. So that concludes the California
Is Jim Broughton
Governor
here?
Forum. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining us, y'all. It's good to see you all. But there we go. It's a picture. I think they're taking a group picture right now. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. It's good to see you.
For anyone that has ever been at my events in the past, there is one closing song that I do. Would you like to hear it? People of the world today, are we looking for a better way of life? You say, we are a part of the Patriot Nation. Good night and God bless all of you.
Right. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. God bless you all. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Denise. Good night. Bye, Lala. Thank you.
How about it?